So is that, so do you communicate that? Because people have to realize there's no excellent. There's a top end that we've achieved so far.
So far.
But obviously it can be achieved beyond that, you know, because somebody comes along and does that. How do you communicate that? As good as you are today, you won by 40 points, or we kicked, you know, the other airlines' butts. How do you communicate we can do better?
Yeah, you know, it's very difficult. I've been lucky when you have Magic Johnson in our place.
Yeah.
You know, you could argue Michael, Magic, Larry, you know, LeBron, who's the greatest, but he's in that statement. So I always got somebody, and I'll never forget, we played Duke a couple of years ago and beat them to go to a Final Four in Washington, and everybody wanted to know what my pregame speech was. It was awesome. We were in there, pregame meal, go for a little film, and all of a sudden Irvin walks through the door. And I said, hey, you want to speak? No, do your thing. You know, I did my thing. And then I said, well, you at least want to wish the guys luck? He gave a speech that was so good, you know. And you always need to find people that have accomplished more, because players, or I think customers, you know, they want to do things with the people that are of the elite status, you know, and that's what their expectations come. Yeah. So I think we can use the same thing in business and in sports, to be honest with you.
Yeah, look, I think that's really true, and I think that our people too. It's a big part of that. It's just it's not one of our values, but it's in our kind of our vision, which is about continuous improvement, always getting better, always seeking excellence. And to me, you never really get there. Yeah. You're always trying to get better. No matter how good you are, you always want to try to get better and better and better. And I think if you get an organization that buys into that again, you know, kind of part of the stated purpose of what we're trying to do, that's core to it. And if our people buy in, it sets the tone, and they each hold each other to a high standard, and I think our customers see that, and that's, I think, what makes the magic happen for us. And
you guys are talking about Deming principles, Kaizen, continual improvement.
Well, you know, Chris, and the funny part about that is we're in a society now where everybody gets a trophy. So everybody thinks they've been successful if they finish 27th or 1st. And that's what I think our job is. We have to separate what is greatness, what is eliteness, what are you really shooting for? You know, the world's full of average people. I mean, there's a million of them, you know, there's a billion of them. And I don't think either one of us, just listening to you and seeing what your company is, and you're starting from scratch, kind of. Yeah. You know what? So did I. You're sitting in a room, started from scratch. Had a good program here, but wanted to take it to a whole nother level, and making progress. And then that damn wooden guy screwed it up. So I'm still making progress, but I got a long way to go.
Andrew, any comments on that?
Well, look, I think that it's a mindset too. I think that it depends on your definition of excellence and what is it. My definition is that you never get there, and you just never do. And I hold myself to a very high standard. That's what motivates me, is the continuous pursuit of just getting better and seeking excellence. But I don't think it's a journey that ever ends. I don't think you ever really get there. Yeah. And if you ever get there, then I think that's when mediocrity does set in. Yeah. But I agree with that too. There's a lot of people that are average, and they don't know what excellence looks like. And they've never played for a team that really expects that kind of performance. And that's part of what we try to do too, in terms of the people we bring, especially the senior people, is make sure they understand that this is a whole new game. It's a different level of performance expected, and people really like that. The people that buy into that, they get very motivated by that, because they feel really good about performing at a high level and accomplishing great things, even when the odds are all against you, like it is for a early stage startup airline.
Yeah.
You know what the most rewarding part of my job has become, and I probably should have said this with leadership, is when you get a person to do a lot more than they ever thought they could do. Yeah. That is rewarding. You know, when you watch somebody that comes in, a Xavier Tillman for us, it wasn't a guy, Denzel Valentine, that anybody even thought would be a pro, or I got girls that work at the front desk that are now in NBA front offices, or, you know, push somebody by spending time with them, because it doesn't work anymore. The Vince Lombardi way, jump, you ask how high, that ain't happening. You got to tell them to jump, and you got to tell them why. But that little word why means you spend a little more time with your people, and then you get somebody to do something that they say, wow, I never thought I could do that.
Yeah.
That is rewarding.
Yeah. Well, you guys all have very similar comments, quite frankly, for being in such different industries. Now, I want to talk a little bit about culture, and for that, I want to bring in a special guest we have in the audience. I'm not sure he knows this or not, so you may get some interesting answers out of him, right? But the head of MEDC, Quentin Messer, is going to join us.